All right, that's good. All right. So I love that LeBron's out, and now, of course, Anthony Davis getting all jealous. May have to sit as well because I put him in my featured article today. What a bleepity bleep 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 bleep. That's all I've got to say about that. All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMac coming to you from parts unknown. I'm out here in Outer Banks at a hotel to be named later. My wife's here for a awards banquet for her running club. So we drove down here from Northern Virginia, and here we are today. So slightly different gear. I've got my double monitor set up, but of course we're on the hotel premium Wi-Fi, wink and a nod. I didn't see much difference between the two speed tests, but I'm paying the $4.95 per day out of good faith. I'm joined by the one and only Gundacker. What's going on, Gun? We got 2 shows together this week.
Yeah, maybe we can pick up some views too. Yeah, just chilling and trying to process all this news. It seems like news is starting to develop later and later every day. Yesterday, a 4-game slate, I was on pins and needles until after lock, and I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, this is just it's like we're in the middle of the last 6 weeks of NBA. This is exactly what it feels like.
Exactly.
And you got Giannis Antetokounmpo could play if these games really mattered. They don't. They're 10-1, even without Chris Middleton, who's due back at some point in the next couple games. They're saying he should return from his wrist injury that he had to have surgery on after the playoffs or during the playoffs, I guess. And then you've got they're missing Drew Holiday as well. So we'll talk some Bobby Portis. He disappointed some people. We've got Anthony Davis, as I mentioned. Now he's questionable. You just have a bunch of people sort of resting, if you will. Kawhi Leonard, is he going to play again? I don't know. He's got a rolling he's always 2 games away from returning. I don't know what's going on here. It just seems a little bit much. There's no consequences for it. I get why in some cases they're doing it, and it does make sense. They're putting a lot of games on these guys, and when we look at from the layoff to the restart of the bubble to then just playing nonstop, and didn't they have a Olympics kind of snuck in there somewhere? So it's just these poor guys just never get a break, and especially those on the good teams when their second season can be up to an extra 22 dozen games, right? It's crazy the workload they're putting them through now.
Yeah, I think it's something the league needs to look at. If it was me, I would abolish back-to-backs and make the schedule more even. But maybe that's a DFS thing where I don't want 13 game, then 4 game slates. Give me 6 to 8 every day, and I'll be in heaven.
Yeah, that would be a little nicer as we we'll get it. Don't worry, we're going to talk a little No House Advantage here. They are the sponsor of the show. The other thing that's been kind of intriguing that they have done is they have taken and moved some of these what do we call them, the back-to-back series, except they're keeping them in the same city.
Yeah.
Or you're seeing a team come in, play on Thursday and then Saturday and then move on, right? So it's helpful, and it's more than just like they would do the Texas road swing for a lot of years for the East Coast teams. They kind of attempt to get at least 2, if not all 3 of the Texas teams in there, or you try to get work in Oklahoma City somehow, or the back-to-back games in Los Angeles for the visitor, but they're playing the Lakers and then the Clippers, right? So without having to travel. So it's just interesting to see what's going on. But let's start to get in here. I do want to mention No House Advantage. If you come in through the link below me here, you can get a $50 deposit match if you are a new member to No House Advantage. That is always helpful. Tonight they have a contest, $5,000 to first. We'll be talking about that for their NBA. This is their against peer gamers. This is the pick'ems is what they call them. It means we're going peer to peer. So what we do there is we choose from about 150 or so questions, player props, if you will, and then we pick 10 of them. You can only use each player once, and you choose over or under whatever the prop is that's up there, and then we assign it confidence points, 10 through 1. If we get it right by choosing the over under, we get those points. Those points go into our tournament score, and that's how we go against the other gamers. The nice thing is No House Advantage is running a lot of overlay here because that's what they're using as their marketing tool. They have us giving away free projections for their site. We've also built out some free lineups, a couple hundred of them, with the probabilities already doing the heavy lifting of should you go over or under and where you should rank those in the confidence points. And then No House Advantage also has their own lineup builder over there that allows you to select your player pool, and you can build a bunch of lineups and just export them into the contests. So they're looking forward to having you come over here, try things out, see what's going on, get a nice little boost to the prize pool. Generally, they're paying out about 2x the equivalent of, or at worst case, 1.5x, whatever the actual number would be, because that's how empty the contests are. Tonight, they'll probably get about 50% full because there's going to be a lot of people chasing dollars on other contests. So we're going to want to play here. So we're going to talk through this. We can go to our our Stokastics page here. Last time I did a show in North Carolina, this was awesome. So it's been a hot minute. I'm going to drop these into the YouTube chat for everybody to take a peek at. And then this is what we'll be looking at. But this page updates every couple minutes. This is our coming straight out of the Osmo feeds for their lines. Now, keep in mind for these tournaments, these are static props. The lines don't move. These are like salaries. So when the other sides put out their salaries, they don't change them because of news. No House Advantage doesn't change them because of we all have to be looking at the same dance card, if you will. Now, they do have versus the house contest. We'll talk about those. Those are active lines. You can build out basically player prop parlay cards, two questions minimum, up through 5. Get all 5 right, you get 20x your buy-in. So there's a couple different ways we can play here. But let's talk about the tournament contests here. Let's look at our unders. We like to start there. Everybody hates to root against the unders here, but let's look at some good ones here. Up at the top here, we have some PRAs for some of our folks. Ooh, here's a good one. DeAndre Ayton rebounds. So he has 11.5 as the line. We have him for 9.4. Now, the thing about DeAndre Ayton, he doesn't always quite get this number of rebounds you would think he gets. He doesn't get the number of double-doubles you think he would get. He comes close most nights. And it's the big nights when he puts it all together. But he also doesn't take a lot of shots. So that is why I always like to look and see where his rebounds, his PRA is. How are you feeling about DeAndre Ayton tonight going against the Orlando Magic in Orlando?
Yeah, anytime we can get a line that's above a season average and we can identify a matchup that's slower in pace and lower in total, less implied possessions, less potential rebounds, I'm in his last 10 games. Only twice has he exceeded 10 rebounds. So I like this line. I like the projection for it. So yeah, I'd be in agreement with the under. Our projections implying him at an 84.5% probability to hit that under. So I don't mind that. The Magic have some real big, great rebounders on the other side. So it's a good spot to lean the under.
So here's another way to look at it as well. Now, he has a couple games. One game, I believe there was some foul trouble. One game, I think there was some injury. He's only, and there might have been a little, some games where he didn't have to play a full minutes because he's only averaging 26.5 minutes per game. But he's also averaging just 7.6 rebounds per game this season. Now, we're going to go with the bigger sample size. DeAndre, we know what's going on. We know who he is. Last year, only 10.2. The year before, 10.5. So even if we put those three together, those 3 years, he's still averaging just 10.2. And now we're looking at like 100 and let's call it 135 sample size. If we go down and we like to look at per 36 numbers, even if we look at last year's per 36 and this year's per 36 together, we can see that, yes, if he plays 36 minutes, he's averaging just over 12 rebounds. He's not playing over 36 minutes. Hell, he's hardly ever playing over 30 minutes. So this feels like a good under, right? You want to look for some context here. You want to figure out what's going to go on. Now, Chris Paul is questionable for this game. Last I checked. Now I'm looking. Yes, he's still questionable. Paolo Banchero, the phenomenal rookie, he is questionable as well. But we've got Phoenix on the road favored by 7.5. Orlando does not push the pace. It's a 217 implied point total here. Just feels like this would be a good one to go under. So looking at this contextually, I definitely am interested in that. Let's continue on down here. Kevin Huerter, he's been pretty solid here in his move to the Kings. You know who's also been pretty good? Malik Monk has been doing decent, and Trey Lyles has popped the last few games. They get to go against the Lakers here. I generally like Kevin Huerter. He's looking at a 4.5 rebound rate. We have him for 3.2, 82% chance he hits the under of 4.5. How are you feeling about Huerter in this one?
So we were kind of talking before we went live that we know LeBron's not going to play, but Anthony Davis was a late addition to the questionable with an illness. So I don't know what this game will be if it doesn't have Anthony Davis and the Lakers. I mean, if you get Russell Westbrook playing 36, 38 minutes, there just might be a lot of long rebounds, if we're being honest. So that'd be one of those I might be a little uncomfortable just because the game flow here just might be a lot of chucking and not enough rebounders, at least on the Lakers side. So I lean the under. I agree with the projection, but I do think the door's open for some hashtag DFS shenanigans if AD gets ruled out.
And that's absolutely fair. And we're only looking at a 10-game sample size here for Huerter with Sacramento. He's averaging 2.7 rebounds per 36. But again, context has changed dramatically here by having a couple of these players out. If we look at what he was doing last year, of course, he was competing with John Collins, Clint Capella in a lot of the games. His per 36 was 3.7. The prior year was 3.3. So with the improvement or the rotation flattening out a little bit there for Sacramento, this is all kind of working towards. I think the under's okay. Gunn pointed out the perfect reason why we do want to consider that. How could this fall apart? Well, at least 1 out of 5 times it's going to fall apart. Maybe we get 1.5 out of those 5 times because if Anthony Davis doesn't play, this is still a reasonable one to go with the under. Don't worry, we're going to talk about overs, but we're just starting with the unders. This is the appetizer. Let's look here. Darius Garland. Now this is one I've been looking at his unders the last couple times. So he is kind of an interesting option. We have him at for this particular contest, no house advantage has him at 4.5. We have him for 3.2 rebounds. How are you feeling about that one? Most everybody is healthy now for the Cavs.
Yeah, again, I would probably lean the under like our projection. And, he's a guy that can score and set up the shots. And he's got a lot of long, lanky dudes, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Kevin Love, elite rebounders to clean the glass for him. So I don't expect him to be in the mix for a lot of rebounds. Again, anytime there's like a 5 or less in line in a potential up and pace, up scoring game like the Warriors, I always worry about more threes, creating more long rebounds. But yes, I would also lean the under here just because of what else is on the court to get the rebounds.
All right. Fair enough. We're looking at chat here, see what's going on. Let's see, we got Chuck is dope. That's one of your fans there. He says big old your TJ Gaiman say, hey y'all. We've got Dennis Forgy. Will there be an NBO show over on Gundacker's channel later? I will let Gun answer that one.
No, I don't like to bring that up here, but no, because the window's too tight. By the time we get off the air, there'll be an hour. There'll be like 40 minutes when the deeper dive starts. So unfortunately, no.
All right. Well, that's okay, because you guys can still get Gun over there in his Discord, and then you can get some more Stokastic here starting at 5 through 7:30, brought to you by No House Advantage. You get the NBA deeper dive, and then you get the live before lock, and then you get an extra 30 minutes of bonus time there. I believe tonight it's going to be Rinpack and Adam. So Ryan Patnick, you guys know him as Rinpack. He's going to be on there. He's going to be doing some more NBA shows here for us, so it's a lot of fun. And then the evening show, I believe, is going to be Greg and Josh Engelman. Get an extra 30 minutes of salty Josh Engelman after lock on a Friday. Oh, you got to be in chat for that one, because I'm sure he will be in rare form in letting chat know how he really feels about you. So definitely tune in to that one. All righty, let's go look at a few others here before we head on to the overs, hit on a few of their direct picks, and then we will cruise on out of here. What is anything exciting coming up for you? Perhaps a Jalen Brunson, another one, 5.5 rebounds for Brunson. We've got him for 4.1. New team, going to the Knicks. The Knicks, of course, without Mitchell Robinson, but you still have Isaiah Hartenstein. You've got Julius Randle. You've got Obi Toppin. You have a variety of decent rebounders there. What is your lean on this one here for Jalen Brunson? under 4.5.
Yeah. I'm on the fence here. Jalen Brunson's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. These games against Detroit, I expect him to be neutral to low in pace. I would lean the under, but man, these no warm and fuzzies. When you said Jalen, I thought you were gonna mention the guy at the top of the list.
Well, you run over there because that feels a little off there with Jalen Suggs. 28 PRA. We have him for 19.7. That's like a 97% chance he falls under. You want to give a little context on that one, Gun? Be my guest. I was pulling it up to see what's up because you've got him, you've got Trey Jones with the PRA, and you've got Suggs coming up again with points on the under. And when you see a low PRA, you always want to go look at what the points, the rebounds, and assists, because odds are one of them stands out more than the other, and you may want to go that route if something is egregiously off. Separately, if you just think someone is losing minutes or there's a change in the rotation, the matchup, whatever, that's when we kind of head towards the PRA because we want more little chances for this to flatten out. Usually we look more towards the PRA for the over, but this is still a lofty PRA. There's a lot of ways he could go under that, but it's going to be that one or the points. What's your read on this for Mr. Suggs?
I mean, just because of how big a discrepancy there is in the projection versus the line, I would probably just throw a blanket over the PRA and lean the under. I don't know that I'm like that low on the projection, 20 versus 28. I do think there's some room for going forward, especially if there's no Chris Paul, but that is still a large enough discrepancy with such a low total and a 7.5 point spread. Devin Booker, even if Chris Paul's out, Cameron Payne is a fine replacement. The Magic rotation can be kind of unpredictable at times. So if this does get a little lopsided in its slow pace, I guess I would lean with the under as well. And it would be a heavy lean because of the probability. So that's where I'm at on that. I would probably take the PRA just because of how big the gap is.
All right, and then just for averages, just for this season, we have. Let's look at both last year and this year. It gives us a bigger sample size: 51 starts and 55 games there for Suggs. In this time frame, he is averaging about 27.5 minutes. It's about where he is this year. His numbers are pretty close across the board. He's getting a little bit more assists, a little less rebounds, but we'll call that kind of even. During this time frame, he is averaging 12 points per game. The PR or the points only is where is he? The points are 16.5. You've got the rebounds at 4.5. During this stretch, he is averaging 3.5. And then the assists, I'm not going to, it doesn't look like the PRA is going to be great on that one, but his assists are pretty negligible at 3.5. So here we are at 28. If we look just what he's kind of averaged, let's see, doing some quick math aloud, that is 20 PRA approximately. So we're putting him in pretty close to where his averages are. That makes sense going against lower pace game, going against the Suns, regardless of who's in there for the Suns. The under on this one feels pretty good. Yes, there could be wonkiness with Magic because they are forever rugging their fans, their players. Former University of Washington, Terrence Ross still in the mix. God only knows why. It's the Magic. We don't know for sure, but that one feels pretty strong.
The only thing I would just say is asterisk if you're taking notes or whatever, keep an eye on the Banchero news because he is like a 30% usage rate guy. If he's out, man, it could get weird. So then I would be a little less confident. But if Banchero does play, I expect him to spearhead everything, and then Suggs can just kind of exist.
All right, heading over here, I see someone asking about. I don't know if they have the Grayson. We don't have Grayson Allen in this one. I'll go look at where he is again on the betting side there. James see kickstarts in here. He says you're so good for him. Bilal Salam says thanks for NHA. I know he's had a few moments over there. Guy I've got both in the sports wagering market and it looks like on No House Advantage is going to be Devin Vassell. Now I have him in the over for his rebounds, but his assists here, No House Advantage has him for 2.5. Now we're looking at the overs, everyone. We have him for 4.5. We know that this is going to be kind of a wild one today as the Milwaukee Bucks are in San Antonio. Let get to my notes. San Antonio was only without Zach Collins, but Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jakob Poeltl, those guys all look pretty good. To a lesser extent, you've got Trey Jones, Josh Richardson, Charles Massey, maybe. But this should be a wild one because, as we mentioned at the top, no Antetokounmpo, no Holiday, Chris Middleton still not ready, no Pat Connaughton here. So we've got Devin Vassell looking interesting going against the points, against the rebounds, against the assists, various sites, various formats. He's a little bit above average play in the DFS world. His salary's kind of regulated a little bit for these folks, or somewhat for these folks all being here. But I definitely like him on the no house advantage side. Any of his overs stand out for you, Gun?
Yeah, I would probably lean the assist line as well. It's nice and low on this season. He's got a 21% assist rate. Usually, when I'm chasing assist props, I'm looking for 30%ers, but that's usually when I'm sweating 7.5, 8.5, 9.5. I'll take 21.5%. And like you said, this is the Bucks backups with
it's the understudies backup.
So yeah, I think the score can get a little bit wonky, even though the Spurs are favored here. I think Jevon Carter, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, as we saw the other night, they are formidable enough basketball players to compete. And the Spurs are like the worst defense in basketball. So should stay competitive long enough, strong enough for Vassell to clear that line. 2.5? 2.5 is, a couple of outlet passes. He might clear that by halftime.
Yeah, that's an exciting one there. I will say Devin Vassell, I did have him on a different site where I was finishing a 5-leg parlay. I needed him to get 5 rebounds. He had 3 rebounds in his first 4 minutes of the game and did not get another rebound. Can bad things happen? Yes, things don't always go your way. But he's someone I've kind of been keeping tabs on, especially now that they've changed out who is going to be the guys with this team, because no more DeJounte Murray, no more White, no more Walker. It's a lot of people have shipped out there. So I look at his rebounds here. Here you don't want to tackle these. It's 5.5. I want to go see. When we looked at earlier on, I think it was over at BetMGM, you could get it for 3.5, and I chose the over there. 5.5, that's kind of neutral. We have him a tick for the over. It's not a great tick for the under. That's not a great number. I'd rather be chasing the other way. But the rest of these are too low. Well, what's popping here for you among the rest of the gun? You lead me into one here. We can analyze.
Top of the board. I'm always a sucker for the top of the board. Klay Thompson, 2.5, 3 prop. We got him 4.34. That's our highest probability to hit the over. He is facing the Cavaliers tonight, and the Cavs, we talked about, their length for rebounding earlier. That also creates a little bit more traffic or a little bit more defense in the paint to where it does kind of funnel out shots out behind the arc. The Cavs are above average above average in defending points in the paint this season, 46, which does kind of funnel shooters to shoot, and that's the Warriors mantra. So Klay Thompson has taken essentially double-digit 3-point attempts in his last 5 games, sans a 1-for-7 appearance in Charlotte. So I would like him to chuck some threes here. The projection likes it. We give him almost a 92% probability of hitting the over. So that's one that I would co-sign.
That looks good. His last 5, yes, 5, 1, 4, 7, and 3 made 3-pointers. I agree with what you're saying there. I sort of wrote up in the free article on the homepage here, breaking down DFS building blocks and DFS picks. I have it was Anthony Davis was a play. Now he's dealing with an illness, son of a. But I do have Steph Curry on there as well. Similar reasons. The Cleveland is good on defense, but it's all in the paint. That's where they stop everybody. This whole game, as last I looked, was a 232.5 over under. We know where Golden State is going to go. They're going to go out to the wings there with Curry and with Klay. I think this is a good matchup for both of them. And we know that they're both averaging right at or Klay's right at or just over double digits, and Curry's I think a tick over. at this point. So they're going to get their attempts in. So this is a good matchup for them because this is going to be their best chances to get their shots off. So good one on that one. Would you ever pick multiple players from the same team in a situation like that one? Should we go look at Curry and see what some of his numbers are? Get a little synergy there with the same matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind being double exposed to the same team. I do typically I want it to correlate. I don't expect the whole team to if I was on Curry and then Clay, maybe just
I will
as an
say
example.
Curry's lines are pretty correct.
Yeah.
They're kind of right on for this, so I don't even want any of his best on the unders is a 53% success. His best on the overs is a 53%. So he's right in the okay. Well, it was an intriguing idea there for a moment, EMac, but the moment is gone.
Yeah, no, I definitely like correlating picks. So assists from the point guard, real points from a wing or something like that. I definitely put that together and kind of create some game theory, some game script. The other over I feel like we should look at, EMac, is we already talked about LeBron James being out. Russell Westbrook, Benchbrook has been a revelation for the Lakers, if you will. He's up in that trade value game by game. He has this season without LeBron James, a 45% assist rate. And there's a opportunity at Anthony Davis being out. The Kings are a bottom 7 defense in the league right now. So no matter which way you slice it, if you get 35 minutes of Russell Westbrook with or without AD, a lot of these lines look like they're attackable. The assist line looks like it's our most lucrative opportunity. Their static line is 5.5 assists. Our projection 7.3. 84% probability of hitting the over. That's lines up great with a 40% assist rate. And then if you could, if you're worried about who's going to make the shots on the other end of his pass, well, there's a couple of lines that we could get behind. 3-pointers made is always sweat. You just got to hit one. Real points I like as well at 15.5. And I might divert from assists to real points if AD does get rolled out, because Westbrook will, pick up a larger scoring role. We saw that, and we saw him beat this line really 3 of his last 4 games, with the outlier being a game against the Clippers. I think LeBron started that game and he got hurt. So I think if there's no LeBron and no AD, I'd go after the Westbrook real points. If there is AD, I might lean the Westbrook assist.
All right, producer Mike, we're going to move over to the versus the house contest here. We'll just hit on a couple. I do see one that stands out here. So what we have over here is Mike's going to get this up on the screen, but you can go to the versus the house. So right now, No House Advantage has their pick'em. Sorry, I don't use the word pick'em. They have their versus the house contest. So this is like the other sites that we have. If you don't sports wagering in your state, you can come over here and you can build out some player prop parlay cards, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 5, you got to get them all right. There's no points if you miss one. This is kind of an all or nothing, but they're all, if you get all 5, is 20x. So that's double what we see over there on Prize Picks. So they are building this side of their contest out a little bit more. So they're getting more and more. They're willing to take exposure on more and more plays. So that one's kind of is pretty cool. They also have NHL. They do a lot of shots on goal props here. They have those up tonight. They do football for their versus the house. You can do same game contest if you're looking for some island game action. But remember, these are sharp lines here. They will move with the news. The other lines when we were talking about, those are kind of like the salaries. Salaries don't move once they've been posted. So remember, there's 2 different formats here. But it does look like Booker. So 29.5 is their line here for points, Gun. In the other contest, it's about 24.5 or 25. We have him for 25. Usually you don't see quite a spread like this here for No House Advantage. I'd be willing to take the under here on 29 in their versus contests. Feels like that one could be just a little bit high, even if Paul is out. I think that one's a little high.
Yeah, 216.5 total. So he would really have to represent, over a quarter of his team's points there. And yeah, I would lean the under just based on the information before us. His usage definitely goes up in a potential absence of Chris Paul, and we've seen guys like Steph Curry drop. What I would say that I would be more in, I'd probably be more in, interested in that if Banchero gets rolled out, because then I have less faith in the Magic to keeping this competitive.
Okay, and then I'm just looking at some of the other guys with some movement here. Devin Vassell, now this is a good example. So he's 20.5 points. Our projection is 19.4. So you can see there's not a lot of wiggle room on these. You need to kind of shop these lines. You can utilize our sister site Odd Shopper. It's a lot easier to search through over there. All you got to do to sign up for that, just put in your email address. I just line up this every time it says, hey, we need you to refresh it. Just, do you want to sign in with Google? Sure, because I signed into tons of stuff with Google. I have zero problem with this. We don't spam you with emails and stuff like that. I know, because I get the emails. They're like once a week. It's nothing too crazy. So but that you can utilize to search by name quickly. So if you have two screens up, you can put the Odd Shopper up, look, start eyeballing the ones that you want to see, and you can kind of see where they are. They are building out the search function a little better for this format of the game. For No House Advantage, you can sort it by position. You can sort it by game on their versus. You can't sort it by type of stat. So if you want to, I want to go look at rebounds, or I want to go look at assists, they're going to build that out. They just don't have that there yet. But you can pull up a player and see everything that they have. Now, in this type of game, they don't. Most players will have one or two, as opposed to the No House Advantage, the prize pool contest. Those tend to have 2, 3, or 4 for their NBA players. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But it's a lot of fun over here. You can see they've already got NFL stuff up. They've got Seattle afternoon game. So they're giving you a lot of different ways to play over here at No House Advantage. But again, if you come in here through the Stokastic link that's below us in the YouTube chat, click through that, you get up to a $50 deposit match. You put in 20, they give you 20. You put in 50, they give you 50. You put in 100, they're going to give you 50, because it's a $50 deposit match. But that's a nice little deal. That money comes out of your account first. You can use it to get in these contests, get in on that overlay. All right, Gun, we've just about hit our 30 minutes here. Any final thoughts before we slide on out of here?
Big slate, lots of news, is stuff that we probably don't even expect at this moment in an hour. It's going to pop up, and take full advantage of that. Take advantage of the overlay. It's essentially free money. So and we do the work.
Still got to monetize it, but it's right there. You can almost reach it. You can get that brass ring if you want
it. Yep.
All right, so we're going to get on out of here. Thank you, producer Mike, for running a nice show. Once again, you can follow Gun out there at Gundacker on the Twitter world. You can find me at EMac DFS, and of course it is Stokastic_COM. Tune in at 5. You're going to get the NBA deeper dive, and then live before lock 2.5 hours, because there's a 30-minute bonus show brought to you by No House Advantage. With that, gamers, good luck.